Hello world, Lindsay here, liaison to the senior partners of Blackhorn and Lynx. Let's play CyberHyve.
With the lobster butter sauce and the garlic bread, which so many people, you'd be surprised, the thousands of people that don't know how to make garlic bread. A lot of people put butter on the French bread and then put it on the barbecue pit. It all runs off. You have to toast the bread first, make a sauce, and then you dip it in that garlic. You'd be surprised if people.
Did I teach you how to do that?
Stir-fried vegetables, and pasta con pesto, and stuffed mushrooms, broiled mushrooms, and pepper steak sandwich. All the dishes come out. This year we incorporated a new one, vegetarian chili. Being that I was a heart patient, they asked me to come up with this. I come up with vegetarian chili. No salt, no fats. You use wine vinegar and lemon juice in the place of sodium and salts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was it a good seller, Val?
Yeah, it went over good. Yeah.
Maybe I missed this, but tell us how you got into cooking anyway.
Easy, he loves to eat.
First thing I gotta eat.
Well, no, you know what? I remember more than so than Ernie, because he was a poor eater. You'd never know it now. Looks like he's pregnant. He was, in fact, he had to take a, what the hell was that called?
Tonics, because I was so thin.
What was it called?
Yes.
Tonic. It's a very bitter tasting.
Beat an egg and Mom used to make it for you. Foneta Blanca.
Fernet.
Yeah.
Fernet.
Yeah, because he was like this. He graduated from high school 140 pounds.
He's the tallest guy in 4 years in high school, wouldn't you?
Anyhow, mainly, and I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Remember Mom cooking in the kitchen? Always there. Sauce. I remember we did the first time, I don't know where they went. I made a cake. Instead of putting sugar, I put salt in it. It raised and pow, it fell down. But anyhow, in the kitchen, you see. Then the way it got started in a bigger scale was as the kids started school, and our kids were going to parochial school. You know, always short of money. So let's raise some money for the kids. How are we going to do it? Let's have a spaghetti feed. Val, you're in charge. Oh, okay, see? And that's what we started out with. I think the first year was about 500 people we served. Got up to 2,200 spaghetti dinners. And it carried them through their sports, what we made off of the spaghetti dinners. And then from there I got started cooking for different organizations, and mostly for kids. Always for sports. Being that both of our kids are involved in sports.
Very important.
Very.
I How do you reach a woman? How do you reach a woman? That's anybody. That's anybody. You reach people through their stomach.
Every woman would like to have their husband cook for them. All of them.
At Christmas time, we usually have a ravioli making session here at our house. And we invite Ringo in to share and show them how it's done. And we usually the ravioli pin and the roller and the board that were
I got 'em.
brought from Italy.
I got both of them.
In fact, I
Yeah.
see some of those tools right up there.
That are hanging in
Yeah.
our kitchen, yes,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, I think you.
Oh, my tools are in
It's true.
Chinto's
You're very,
basement.
very,
over
very
there.
right.
Big
I
machines.
never thought of it that way.
About all of us being somewhat involved in the food industry, you know, in one way or another. I think the Italians more or less chose that way of life wherever there was the food thing kind of brought them together, and they more or less all have some thing to offer in the food industry, you know, somewhere in
Food and drink.
In this area, the Italian with a professional business didn't have to move to this country. He was doing all right in Italy.
Regardless of what they learn,
The poor peasants
cultural
they
art.
had to get out of
That's
it.
right.
I mean, my dad was a baker, but I'm sure he was a baker
Yeah.
and manager before that. And not the grocer. Great. I went there. Clean farm was cement finisher.
Yeah.
When he was in Italy, he grew up on a farm.
Well, most of your cans, most Italian owned, right? The F&P,
think-
San Jose, all of them. Italian owned, the cans.
Regardless of what they did, their motivation was that they all wanted to own something.
Land, especially.
They wanted to own something, whether it was
true.
a house,
Yeah.
a piece of land with a house on it.
because the opportunity was there. In the old country, they didn't have the chance. They didn't borrow enough for the down payment. There's
Yeah.
no such thing. You know. So when they got here, that was very prevalent. You know, that hey, I want to own my own home or some land around
Yeah.
it.
Well, you get even that little town, that picture that I showed you there. When my father, they didn't own anything over there. They were served. They'd worked for these big guy who owned the place.
Yeah, tenants.
So when my uncle came over here, the first one was Chinto's father, came out of the winery. He made money, went back, and he bought 3 apartments for his brothers, his father, and in fact I stayed in one when I went back there, and they're nice, you know. They improved them and everything. Otherwise, they wouldn't have. Over there, they wouldn't have bought. He had to buy it from here, so he went back there and bought it.
Tuesday lunchtime. Let's go to the kitchen at the ranch.
Toured our garden.
Well, the
other two?
researchers that are with us,
Oh.
Oh, I see.
Well, can you get all the other two too?
well, probably, check.
All 4 of you.
And some garlic.
I'll muster something up.
Garlic. Some good garlic. How about just straight garlic?
The tank house. The tank house restaurant.
That's at the ranch?
Well, there's another story. You see?
Well, it's there.
Anyhow, we had this tank house has been there since 1903. It's still there. Thank you. Buildings there. So one day I was there. I don't know what I was doing there, cleaning. What was I cleaning there that you came? Sitting outside there, right in the front of it. Anyway, I was something. He comes there. He says, we ought to make this a kitchen. We ought to make a kitchen in here. Where? Just in here. I looked around. It was okay, make the kitchen. It was inside the tank house to get it
Well, explain what a tank house is. A building.
It's a building.
Two-story building.
With a tank on
About as
top.
big as this room right here,
Yeah.
and then comes up narrower on top. And it's two-story, and on top of that is a big water tank.
Storage tank for the
The
house.
water tank services the house.
So they utilize the bottom storage.
It was a building. I'll go back into detail. It was a building that we hardly ever used. Well, we lived there for years, 40 years, 50 years. It was a little out of the way. We used it as a storage, but nothing else. And it was a sidewalk leading to it, but no other use, no other purpose.
That's what we used to
And
do.
then we sold most of that property, subdivided it, and that remained with the house that we didn't sell. My mother lived in the house there at the ranch for years, and then she got too old to live there, so she rented it out. Rented the main house out. So this tank house was
Available.
the landmark, you know, of the home piece, we call it, the home place. And we'd go there, just go through there, but never any facility that we had been using. And since he was around there, and I thought, hey, there's got to be a better use for this damn thing. Let's do something with it. And there was brush and trees and everything around it.
It was terrible. It's not that good now, but I mean, it's.
So then we pulled these things all out, and he says, what do we, I don't know, he wanted to cook there or something. And I said, well, let's do something. We're going to put some boards on the ground or something to put a table on. And I thought, well, instead of boards, let's cement it. And we were going to make about a 6x6 little cement slab. So then it came to about 15 by 20 cement slab, you know, and now it's too small. But it adjoins the tank house. It's a lean-to kind of a thing.
We made a lean-to again last.
We put a makeshift sink on it. We got running water. The water runs into some grapevines. It's not in the septic tank, it's just clear water, you know. Runs into some grapevines, and that works out good. So it's something that gives Val a lot of
We got a
experience.
big garden.
How often do you cook?
Almost every day. Almost.
For your family?
Yeah, like Sunday we were. Yeah. Rabbit. Potato, spaghetti, salad.
Calabrese again,
Yeah,
remember?
they don't eat polenta. That's not their dish. Huh?
We have our Wheaties for breakfast, not at lunch.
We have polenta for a treat maybe once a year, you know.
I don't think I've had it in the last 2 years myself. That's from our region.
But
We're pasta users.
Polenta with
I've
guacamole.
had as high as
Yeah, I love
9.
it.
They eat a lot of
19.
pasta. See, we eat
We're
the polenta.
pasta
where we
eaters.
come from. They eat a lot of pasta.
We're
We don't eat
pasta.
the spaghetti. They do. They guys could have it every day. These guys.
We're pasta
Oh,
eaters.
man, every day.
You know,
My dad
Yeah.
once
cooked
a
lot
week
of-
or once every 2 weeks enough for me. Ernie, you gotta have at least once a
I
He
don't
ate
meal.
a
know.
lot of short ribs. Well, a lot of the people in the north boiled a lot of stuff.
Yeah, bolito. Yeah,
Boiled the chicken, you boil the
boil
short
it.
ribs.
Yeah.
In fact, I looked it up in an Italian cookbook once, and they put everything in to boil it. They put a tongue in, they put a chicken in, they put
Oh yeah, they
meat
can
in,
boil anything. Yeah.
boil it
Good,
all together.
Good, yeah.
All together?
Mhm.
All together.
That's called the mishkulanza.
That
You know
was-
something? I'm gonna have to excuse
mess.
myself. The tile finally came in tomorrow morning, and I got to go back there and clear 500 square feet out of the house. We're laying tile for a month and a half. And then
Charlie,
do
you
with
still
that,
got
I'm gonna
Charlie
get
over
my
there?
job. Tomorrow morning, Charlie gonna be there real early.
Huh?
I'm going up
Huh?
to Reno.
Oh, and
Oh.
that's
We gotta try to make-
right?
Yeah, well, he's Swiss Italian. They don't count. So, what we're gonna do is, I want to, of all the weeks, Gene Ward. These are teachers that we worked with 11 years. Every year they've asked me to go to the Reno air races, and every year I had a good excuse I couldn't go because I'm working, you know, at the school. Well, no more excuses. So Friday at noon, but I want to go. They said they're pretty good. You know, 3 days. So I'm gonna go. But of all the time, Charlie.
So you heard about the kitchen?
So, excuse me.
You heard about it?
I never heard about it.
Ernie, say hello to your wives. Eh? Have a good time.
I'll see you
What time
tomorrow.
you leave? What time you leave?
Well, we'll leave it at
Trying to know about it.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Frank.
You're
Val,
welcome.
Rich,
Enjoy it.
have a good time laying tile.
laying down on my knees. Thank you very much.
Bye, Rich.
And we'll see you.
All right.
Yeah,
Have
bye,
a good
Frank.
time at the air races, huh?
Yeah, thank you. And Gene and Roger.
All right.
Can I ask you one favor?
I guess we heard about the pump house from, we were over at the, are they your nephews over at the Glen Loma group?
Oh yeah, Tim and
Tim
John and
Yeah.
Craig
Yeah,
and
they
Paul.
mentioned
Yeah.
They ate there about
So they came out there last
2 weeks ago.
couple of weeks ago. They were all out there.
Did you guys, make the brandied cherries?
The one?
Brandied cherries?
No.
You don't do that. I
Years
thought
ago they did, but no more.
In fact, you know what? I did. I made some.
he Always had a jar on hand.
But 8-9 years ago, I still got some.
I never really liked them. They strong. You know,
Well, they used to make the stuff,
grappa.
yeah.
Oh, grappa. Oh.
So it was in, it's real strong.
Walked out in the back kitchen. Right, here's this copper kettle on there with all these
Bye,
tubes.
Rich.
Yeah, making this alcohol.
Yes, one of our friends came back from Italy, visiting there and brought us back a bottle of grappa. And we tried it in Italy also, but it's not my favorite.
No.
It's just
Too raw.
strong.
It's like straight alcohol.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, my dad used to make his allotment of wine in the garage all the time.
Yeah. Folks made one.
He
Basement.
had the basement, you couldn't build a house without a basement, right?
Yeah.
And he'd have his barrels down in the basement, and I ended up running the wall. One time they were gone, so I was in high school.
Mm-hmm. You put in a barrel, huh?
Yeah. We all got it in the barrel.
Spigot.
Yeah.
That was Pussy, you know. My cousin Albert did the same thing.
Yeah. How is he, by the way?
I was gonna call him tonight and then I didn't. Pussy.
One of the people in San Pedro we spoke to said that the father had a grappa still down in the basement, you know, and he would run it every once in a while. And
We made our own alcohol
mother
years
would come
ago.
home and
You know, there's
she'd
quite a
Archie, you
few
can smell it
Italians
out in
that
the
came
street.
down from San Jose.
Not really.
Don't worry.
Yeah, we had a lot of fruit around here,
Yeah,
see,
there's
and
a
fruit
big
has
can
sugar,
of-
and that's all
Yeah.
you need to make alcohol.
Yeah.
well,
Distill
we
it.
have our vinegar barrel in the garage.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
And
Well, it ought to be strong now.
it's strong.
Oh,
I can
good.
smell it on a hot day when I pull into the garage.
You haven't been at him? Every time you draw, you gotta have, you
And,
know.
but you gotta, you can't go to the store and use that one, yeah?
You know,
Some of your cousins, your uncle. Sure.
Yeah, Giretti's have
There's
given
the
us
raw.
They're
the
wet, they don't make anymore.
They must have some.
No, they closed that winery a long
Okay.
time
the
ago.
Raffinelli,
How about
make
some
some.
In fact, I
Quinto?
saw Harry, and I asked him if he would talk to you guys, he said no. Well, he's not, he's had a couple of minor strokes.
The hair of the band.
Raffinella may have some raw wine. Raw wine we mean by not past processed.
right.
Once it's
Pasteurized.
processed or pasteurized, it's dead.
You can't
don't
use
have any out
What do
there?
we call it?
The mother of the
Yeah.
you kill the bacteria that
Raffinella or
mix
mixed?
Is Raffaello still making wine?
No, no.
So why would he have wine?
Italian prisoners of war.
Well, Conrado sold his
Oh,
wine.
yes, the Italian
Oh, yeah.
prisoners of war.
Didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
They sent
Scaglioli?
about 1,000
Conrado, Quinto.
here
Oh,
as
Cinto.
prisoners of war, and then
Well,
all
he
the
buys
Italian
his wine.
families would invite them out for dinner. They
Where
had a
you get
ball.
that?
They were not prisoners; they were like everybody else.
They were housed on the grounds of Brownell School right at
Oh,
the
yeah,
present
I
site.
remember that.
Yeah.
They had an infantry division or something stationed here in Gilroy?
There's quite a few of
Yeah,
them. I
there
don't know
was.
what they were, but we had them invited at the
Well, they
house.
used to walk the streets of Gilroy for
yeah,
crying out
yeah,
loud.
it made-
Prisoners?
Oh yeah, they were free as a
And
bird.
some of them were housed also where on
The OCC camp
CC camp,
on Birchwood Road.
Birchwood Road.
I had a memory of my danger.
California Conservation.
So I don't know if we covered what you wanted. If there's anything else, by all means, we'll try to cooperate.
Remember locate Fontanesi? Yeah. I don't know what his first name is. That's who my folks bought the paper for. He must be about 90 years old. Remember Fontanesi?
Remember the name, the people know.
Family? Peter Giroux.
But then your folks had a store where
French American bakery.
French American bakery.
Right.
That
We
was your
moved up
folks.
the street.
You moved up the street.
By the
In fact,
inflation.
it may have been French American when we were there, and then it
Yeah, I think
changed its
so.
name when we moved down.
Okay, French American
we
bakery.
used to live upstairs
Okay.
What
over
were
the
they doing with
bakery.
the French American bakery?
French American
I don't
bakery. I
know.
remember that.
I don't know how in the world we got that name,
Mhm.
but we made good bread.
Mm.
Yeah. I remember your dad and your mom
Yeah.
working in that
Yeah.
store. Yeah. For years.
We're the old timers now, see?
I guess. Well, we want to thank you all so
Thank you
much
very
for
much.
spending the time with us.
I hope
Taught
it's
us
what
a
you
lot.
what you can use some of the information.
Oh, we sure can.
Well, they've done us that well. I mean, they're doing well. They've got good jobs. One boy, it's in New Mexico. He's been there 17 years in the Air Force. He's got about 3 more years to go. He married a girl from New York State. They have 2 children. Five. Well, you might say 78 years. Always been growing garden, rye, wheat, buckwheat. One year I thrashed 800 bushels of buckwheat. Potatoes. We used to grow, try to have 50 more potatoes to sell.
Maybe if you sat around over there close to him, I'd pick you up better on the microphone.
What do you want me to say?
Well, no, I'm gonna ask you some questions. I was just talking about what you, the crops that you grew and all that. And what I was wondering about is, did you use the planting signs?
Well, part of the time I do. Not all the time.
Why not?
It's the best, though, if you will, I think. Well, and you know, you just think you're behind and you're just going to plant.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way it was this past spring, but everything worked out real good. Yeah, I do sometimes.
I always had to plant corn on the older moon. I didn't get the tall one. Here out better and the stove didn't get the tall one. Plant on the newer moon, it'd be way powerful the air come out. Be more fodder time. If you plant on the older moon, I generally had the same variety of corn.
Yes, you did.
What about you, Mr. Higgins?
My daddy always said plant it on the older moon.
Yeah.
If he got cross-threaded and had to plant on the newer moon, we had to reach way yonder to cut the tops.
But you know, my father planted just whenever. He never looked at a calendar nor an almanac. He just planted when the weather got warm and he got his ground ready. Then's when he planted, and I never knowed him to fail. So I said, he must been a pretty good judge
Yeah,
anyway.
right. Did you use an almanac?
I used to just go by calendar. Yeah. run and open the door and look. I got some paper down there. Because if you do, your potatoes will surely spoil. Yeah, when this onion that's never did a thing. Next week, it's
After that, it's the head for 2 days, then the neck.
well, I think next week maybe I might get a few of them out. I hope I can get them all out.
The head and the neck, it's all right, huh?
Yeah, I guess.
It's the time to avoid really more than anything else. The feet, you
Yeah,
don't dig them.
yeah, that's what Bloom's almanac says to never. But it does say too to always gather when it's the full of the moon, not the new, because then it's increasing.
Right.
In the new of the moon, it's increasing, but when it's full moon down here, it's decreasing. The ones cut, they're bound to cut holes in some of them. That where you cut there, it just works. Okay, you lose the flavor. You know what I mean? But if you get them, it's full and it's decreasing. That place where you cut all that. Bigger, you know, the whole thing decaying. It was a lot of them go by. Yeah, a lot of them do. Then they use something to look on. They still. That's this kind of superstition already.
Well, it's been working through the ages. Them old folks, they adhered to that.
Well, you see, the Bible speaks of the moon being for the signs and the seasons, or you know.
So.
And people have just followed that all down through these years and ages, from the beginning, I guess, more or less.
Must be something to it.
There is. There is. I know there is.
What about
the reason why I know there is, I've noticed it. Yeah. I've noticed, you know, I've noticed these things. That there was times that it would, like I tell you, stuff would, you just lose it, it would just spoil.
Turn up and meet there.
Right out of the same bag, and got a good stand. Somebody said, well, the points must have been down. But I hadn't never heard that. But I do watch that a little bit from now. Since then. I don't like to play.
Hey, one fellow out here planted onions and taters rattled song side and side. And he said them onions grow so strong that them taters right plumb water in the eyes.
Why was that?
Crying from that strength of the onion.
Yeah,
Sometimes she was taking the baby and trying to dog. He was living in the dog and the mother lost him. I mean, they, and that there, that, I can remember that place getting killed out. Way of packing.
Type, but something like making kraut, the way we make it. Chop up those cabbage and salt them, and put them down here in a stone jar, stone churn, or big old stone jar, what have you. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen them. And then let them stay there for 10, 12 days. And they'll pickle in the salt. It'll pickle. That's what it does. Only that just pickles, and then it's kraut.
Right.
But there's several different ways people make that anymore. They've got a new way that I like pretty good. It's got good fresh cabbage. Take 1 gallon of water, 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of vinegar, and 3/4 cup of salt. And put that water, that gallon of water, in your pot, and put it on scalding water. And then let it cool, and then you chop it in cabbage. And you put them in these rice jars like these, and then you pour that solution on them. And it does make good kraut, real good kraut. But remember, you gotta have good cabbage first. One time I had some cabbage down here in the garden, I remember that too. They wasn't good to start with. We didn't care a lot about kraut. But rather than just let them stand there and go to the bad, the weather's been dry, and they grew so slow and they were tough, you know. But I wanted to save them. So I got my stone jar and I chopped them up and packed them away for them to pickle. And when I thought, well, now we won't eat these. And when they went ahead and pickled, then I fed them to the chickens before I'd can them. Because the cabbage was not good and the kraut was not good. And I thought, well, now, we don't eat that much kraut and we don't like kraut that good. And see, I would have to get my glass jars like this right here and take it out of the stone jar and pack it in these glass jars and then seal it, pressure it, put it in the pressure pot. Heat it. Open the pot and heat it. The fire comes up raw. Put it in these jars and seal it up. And it stays the same. But you have to keep it in the stone jar. Because if you do, it'll just get sour and sour and sour. Just, you know, unless the weather's hot. Yes, we still use some turpentine and the lights and stings.
Used to use a skunk polecat oil for crude.
Turpentine.
Polecat oil for crude?
Yeah.
Now the turpentine was good. It's good for
Them skunk be fat
good
on
for
this.
infections, you know. Arthritis is infection. In
Cook
your
that fat out like you're cooking out
And
fat out of a hog.
if you just bathe them with
And make a nice
that turpentine,
oil.
and it will have
Just
a
rub it
fat
on the
effect in
patient.
your joints and your fingers too.
It don't have no smell to it like the fumigation. No, you got to carry that fume satchel separate from the other.
Pick up. I don't make.
You ever see
I don't
one?
make any home remedies
Okay.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sure.
Did you ever skin one?
I used to
No.
Well, now, these two little pockets repairs and fumigation, they was right inside of the heel. It did like squeezing a little syringe out here. You would take a syringe, a squirt gun, squeeze that syringe, and that water will squirt. When you squeeze on this little syringe, that action of the muscle, that goes in the power to get squirted 15. We used to use that dog fennel for a crew. Get it fried and lard. Grease it back in there. That's a white one.
What ones do you remember?
I was just telling her my remedy for the kids' colds and their bad chest colds was to take turpentine and kerosene oil and lard and camphor.
Call it
Stir
witch
that
grease.
all together and grease your chest good.
Yeah.
Call it witch grease.
He gave it that name. He gave it that name, witch grease. And one of my daughters thought that was exactly the name of it, and she just thought it was grand, and she still does. She still thinks it is. She was awfully to catch a cold and cough, you know, and she just cough, 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 cough. My dad used to drink a little of that. He poured it out in the bottle here and took that. He had a dump left in it dry, and he'd make tea in the winter and he'd drink it. And some of us children got cold like he told us to
It has a bitter twang.
wasn't sick. It was just to give babies. But my babies was never, you know, when they were tiny, maybe when they got a year old or something, you know, they've got cold. I remember them getting bad sore throats, and one of them got infection in his little head one time. But, you know, tea wouldn't do that. It just, I never made much tea for them.
Did you hear of rat vein?
Yeah, yeah.
What was that?
I don't know really what it was good for. Ratsbane and University, there was another vine that they called University.
And that's for a nerve system.
was?
That's for the nervous system and rat's vein. Yeah. Big one. Leaves back. So called leaves one. Leaves from quite long. I've been out working, going out and get nervous and hungry. See somebody start to drag it. Get up and leave it. It was nothing I called quick liver or something. What was that?
I don't know that. been studying them here for about a month, but I don't know that one.
It had a leaf, wasn't long like an apple tree leaf, but it was more round. Liverwort, that's what it was. Liverwort. We used to get that stuff.
My flower.
And it had
My
a
bouquet's getting ugly. I'm gonna have to throw it away.
it had a thick
It's been sitting there.
pores there. It was a thick leaf and it was wrapped around.